Ever since the Brexit vote in 2016, most of the focus from the media and everyone has been on the UK government side of the negotiations. Not many people actually talk about what the EU has been doing and what's actually been happening in there. Until now. Thanks to some footage being released by the BBC, we now have some idea about what's been happening from the EU side when it comes to Brexit. Right, let's start with the first video.
Je ne raconte pas. Si je parle franchement entre nous deux là, il n'y a aucune justification de discuter de l'avenir de l'Union européenne avec le Royaume-Uni en le mélangeant aux dettes.
Non, tout à fait d'accord.
Et ça, demain, je vais assez brutalement, calmement, mais clairement rappeler que c'est pas négociable.
D'accord.
Merci.
From the beginning, the European Union decided to have a strategy to not have any talks on the future relationships and essentially force the UK into a corner to simply just talk about the divorce aspects of Brexit. Now, we said this during the referendum in 2016 and even just after the vote that this would be a bad idea. Yet Theresa May just said, yeah, why not? The other thing we haven't really seen since the Brexit negotiations started is the true attitude and mentality of the European Union officials.
Oh, yeah.
You're not there, eh? You're not very close to a solution, eh?
No. They will stay. The worst.
Arrogance, arrogance, arrogance.
De religion, guerre de succession, guerre de tranchées avec des millions de morts et la première utilisation d'armes chimiques. Il n'y a que l'Europe qui peut nous sauver de cette misère, je dirais, du passé.
Seriously, this line really pisses me off. They've been going around for years and years saying that we have peace in Europe thanks to the European Union. It's not true. We have peace in Europe for three reasons. Number one, NATO. Number two, all major players in Europe are now democracies, and democracies don't fight with each other. Number three, trade. So it's been good that the European Union have technically created a trade zone for its members. But if you truly want to see a peaceful world, then more countries need to freely trade with each other. Something the protectionist EU doesn't like.
For 2 years together! Yay! And then I think the transition period also. Again 3 years! At least 3.
The members of the Brexit steering group have known each other for many years, but that does not mean they fully trust each other.
So that's the other thing. The UK media and actually the whole Western media have been focusing on the UK side when it comes to the infighting, the divisions, and the whole political class being a mess and not trusting each other. However, the same thing is happening in Europe, but they're just not talking about it.
Without a deal, the UK risks becoming a country with the same relationship to the EU as China, Russia, or Zimbabwe.
Seriously? The documentary maker directly suggests that post-Brexit, the UK border is going to be like Zimbabwe, China, or Russia. Interesting that he chose those countries. What about America? What about Australia? What about New Zealand? What about South Korea? What about Japan? Interesting that all the bad countries in the world have been picked as an example. It's to scare us about Brexit.
So basically, we don't really give a fuck what goes through the border in it because we know who the baddies are. There might be a problem with terrorism. If there's a problem with terrorism, that might be a problem. But okay, if a terrorist,
We're gonna find them.
That was more or less what he said.
So head in the fucking clouds.
But this is a funny one. They're criticising the UK government, suggesting that we will struggle to control our borders and we won't know the terrorists if any of them come in. Wait, let me just check. The borders are now open. If an unknown terrorist comes through the border, we wouldn't know because it's open. Yeah, we don't really want to take a lesson on border control from the European Union. Thank you very much.
Mr. May gave her speech on Brexit in a European city, in Florence. I think she chose Florence because Florentine politics in the 15th century made her feel at home, I think. You know, backstabbing. You know, backstabbing, betrayal, noble families fighting for power, and so on and so on.
Wow, backstabbing, betraying, and families wanting to gain to power? So the first one. What about the Greek people who the European Union stabbed in the back over their financials? Oh, and the second one. What about the British voters who are being betrayed despite their vote in the referendum? Oh, and the last one.
Noble families fighting for power, and so on and so on. So
seriously, that's you. You do that in European Union, all of you.
What we know is that she is really very, very, very keen to have sufficient progress at the December European Council. And we are now testing how far that keenness takes her.
See, this is the state of our country when we have a Prime Minister like Theresa May. The EU are taking advantage of us because they know they can.
Can I become Belgian citizen after this whole because I don't think I will need
Ollie Robbins.
Yeah, when even the British negotiator is in favour of Brexit, don't be surprised that we're in this situation right now. The lesson we've learned from this documentary is that the European Union won't last forever, for a number of reasons. Their arrogance, their one-of-us mentality, the fact that they're not actually open when it comes to the whole world, because for them it's about Team EU versus the rest of the world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click on the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.